Well, hey there, everybody. One of our favourite people, and a big congratulations to One Nation, and most importantly, to our great friend, Senator Malcolm Roberts. Well done, Malcolm. Well done, One Nation. 4 historic seats, and congratulations to you, Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Pat, and thank you for your support and to your listeners for their support. You know, we really need to thank all those who took part in the democratic process, because the Australian Electoral Commission did a fantastic job. You know, it can never be perfect, but nothing happened that would affect the result or the outcome. So thanks to them, thanks to us, we've been sharpening them up in the last 6 years in Senate estimates. My thanks to everyone who took part in the democratic process. Every single person who voted formally, thank you so much, because without voters, you have no democratic process. And thank you to all candidates. Thank you to all volunteers who helped any party at all, because you're most important for the political process. And thank you to One Nation headquarters. Thank you to my wife. Thank you to Pauline Hanson. Thank you to James Ashby. You know, the overriding thing with One Nation is the honesty. Pauline has
100%.
always told me the truth. James Ashby always told me the truth. One Nation headquarters has always told me the truth with the current manning. My wife, honesty is extremely important. So my wife and family, thank you so much.
Truth is important in politics. Unfortunately, the other two lot didn't tell a lot of truth. I mean, we had Albanese lying every few minutes, and then Peter Dutton looked like he was more confused than a termite in a yo-yo. But honestly, what I predict, Malcolm, I predicted it 3 weeks or so before the election. Albo was going to win a landslide. Now, in your opinion, what in the world happened to Dutton and the Liberal Party, apart from not standing for anything? Could you enlighten? I mean, you're there.
You realize what you just said? Apart from not standing for anything.
Exactly.
That's the end of my. I don't need to say anymore. But I will say a couple of words on some other topics. You talked about the lies coming from the Liberal Party and the Labor Party, mate. What I noticed was the shallowness of the debate. And the reason for that is very simple. Peter Dutton could not go too hard on Albanese because their policies are almost identical.
Yeah.
Albanese couldn't go too hard on Peter Dutton because their policies are almost identical. And what it also showed was that we shifted the debate many, many times, is because of our work, unrelenting work and accurate work on immigration causing the housing catastrophe that is now sweeping Australia. That forced them to get into immigration. It was only in the last couple of weeks. But both of them said, basically, we'll cut immigration too, just like One Nation, because our policies were hitting home. No, that's the reality. But unlike us, where we had hard targets, hard numbers, they just said they would cut immigration. They talked about cost of living. We'll reduce cost of living. We gave specific initiatives, fully costed, and full parameters on that. The other thing I would note, Pat, is that unlike past elections, the Labor Party did not tell lies about One Nation, did not attack One Nation. The Liberal Party actually endorsed some of our policies by copying them. So we're no longer the smelly pile in the corner. We are setting the agenda. But what did surprise us and stunned us and heavily disappointed us was some of the micro parties, the pop-up parties, told lies about us, because what they wanted to do, Pat, was shoot holes in us to try and get votes off us, rather than shooting holes in the Liberals and the Nationals and the Labor Party and the Greens. And it was an absolute disgrace, the lies that were told about One Nation from the micro parties and the pop-up parties who told everyone, we're working in alliance. Absolute rubbish.
Well, that's right. Two of those people, or two of those parties, one person in particular, even though they wanted to be on our program, I told them to go for a long walk off a short plank, and because we're not dealing in lies, and we deal in truth. But Malcolm, what does it mean now? 4 senators, 4 seats in the parliament. What does that mean for us here, the voting people of Australia?
Well, the short answer is it means double the voice of the 2 previous senators, me and Pauline. We're still there, but we'll be joined by double another 2. So it doubles the voice, doubles the speaking opportunities. Sadly, Pat, it doesn't affect the dominance of the Greens and Labor Party coalition in the Senate. They have got the numbers on their own. Although we see some turmoil now with Dorinda Cox leaving the Greens to go to the Labor Party. Oh, and by the way, by the way, she gets it right. She said she's leaving. She's been accused by many staff apparently of being a bully and of intimidating and harassing her staff, or certainly bullying. And she said she has a better better fit with the culture of the Labor Party.
Better
Well,
chance
what
of
would you
bullying
expect?
over there.
so so, but
She
let's
can join up with the mean girls and the mean +1 girls.
let's have a look at the numbers though, Pat, because these almost completed numbers. The Labor Party got 34.6%, roughly 34 point something percent, or about 0.6%, under 35% of the vote of the voters, eligible voters that voted. Only about 85% of voters voted, formally or actually voted. So that means 85% of 34.6% is 29%. Less than 30% of the eligible Australians eligible to vote voted for the Labor Party. No mandate. Now, if you do the same calculations with the LNP, the Liberal Nationals, it was just over a quarter of Australia's eligible voters voted for the LNP, 26, 27%. These two parties are falling out of favor very, very quickly. Most people are, a third of people, of eligible voters who voted, actually voted for someone other than the two majors. And what would that be? 29 and 20 and 27 is 56%. 56% of eligible voters voted for someone either voted informally, did not turn up, or voted for the small parties, the minor parties, the micro parties, and the pop-up parties.
Yeah. Why are we stuck with Tweedledee and Tweedledum? Why are we stuck with two of the same? Why can't we have a third party or a third choice for a prime minister? Why can't we have a third and fourth? I don't understand it. Why can't we do that, Malcolm?
Well, we can do it, Pat. It just depends on the numbers in the House of Representatives. That's where it comes from. The majority party in the House of Representatives is invited to form the government. And that might be a coalition of parties, or it might be a single party. At the moment, it's a single party, the Labor Party. In the past, it's been coalition between Liberals and Nationals. So the answer to your question is because the person or the people in charge of this country are not doing our job. The people in charge of this country, according to our constitution, mate, as you know, are the people of Australia, the eligible voters, the citizens of this country. And they're just still asleep, but they are waking up. We've gone from 95% of Australian voters voting for Labor and Liberal about 40 years ago, down to 60, 65, 66%, and it's continued fall. It's been a continuous fall. So one day, in the not too distant future, we will have someone other than Labor or Liberal.
So Malcolm, Labor did not talk a lot about the super tax, probably because Albo, for some reason, Grim Jim has gone missing all of a sudden. He's hiding out there in, I don't know where he's hiding at the moment, but he's given Albanese a pass on it. Can you explain, Malcolm? Help me here. Help me. You right. We're gonna slug. And I told people they're coming after their super. I think it's just a start. But why would you give Albo a pass?
You wouldn't, mate. You can't trust him.
But he is.
I know. Chalmers is a charmer. He is a charmer because if you listen to his words, then they're meaningless. They carry no weight. He doesn't intend to do what he says, but what he does is he portrays himself to be clever and slick, and he's not. He's just a wordsmith. Yeah. So to answer your question, what they're planning to do is anyone with a super account that's over $3 million in value will be paying 30% tax on their income in their super fund, not 15%, double. So what they'll be doing is doubling. Yep. So that's one thing. The second thing is that 3 million is not indexed. So in a few years, it'll mean someone on a $1 million super balance, a $2 million super balance will be over $3 million and will be paying double the tax that they think they're paying now. So what they're
Mm,
pitching it as, lying, they're pitching
mm.
as, this will affect the wealthy. So everyone's
Yeah.
clapping. What they don't realize is that
That's
the people clapping have got their head in the guillotine pretty soon too.
correct.
So the third thing is that the tax is on, will include taxes on unrealized capital gains. So if you've got a house that increases in value, or an investment house, or you
Mm,
invested in bullion and it increases in value, then you will pay tax even though you don't sell it. So you'll be forced, in order to pay your tax, to sell part of your asset. So
yep.
that means you might be jumping out of the property market just to sell a house so that you can pay the tax on
Mm,
something that has not been realized. So what we'll be doing? Well, I haven't got a super fund of over $3 million. For what the
mm,
people who are liable now, they'll be paying a tax on unearned income. They're paying
mm.
tax on something they have not earned, something they have not even no income.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
You can,
Uh,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead, Malcolm. Are they trying to cause a crash and an economic disaster on purpose?
No, they're appealing. They may be, but they're appealing to people who are pretty stupid, because most people don't understand the concept of tax bracket indexation. These are not indexed, so they don't increase.
No.
So the
But
3 million, so people under 3 million will be over 3 million pretty in a few years. So they're banking on that. The same thing, Pat. Both the Labor Party and the Liberal National Coalition bank on tax bracket creep for income tax. So
mm,
you know what that is. As
yeah.
your income increases, you're bounced into the next tax bracket, and you
Mm,
pay more
mm,
tax.
yeah.
So what we have done twice, we've moved
Mm,
motions and amendments to Labor's taxation bills in the Senate, and
mm,
we've moved them twice, and saying bring in indexation of tax brackets so that you stay in the same tax bracket, not move into a
mm,
higher tax bracket. What the
mm.
Labor Party and the Liberal Party, both of them, speaker
Yep.
after speaker, said, we
Mm,
love your idea. We're in favor of tax bracket indexation, but we're
mm.
not going to vote for it.
Yeah.
They've done
Yeah.
that twice, So,
Yeah.
and then both parties, I think, said, yeah, we'll look at tax bracket during the tax bracket indexation during the
Mm,
election, but they
mm.
never will. Here's the
No.
reason why. Because every 4 years or so, because people are paying a huge amount of tax, they come back and they say, okay, we'll give you a tax cut, which is
Mm,
partially unwinding the impacts of inflation, increasing your tax. And then
mm.
in the next 4 years, they just get it all back and more, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. But I think, Pat, what they'll do is this is just a thin end of the wedge. They will spread this taxation of unearned income, of
Mm.
unrealized capital gains, to other fields outside super.
100%.
That's what they'll
100%.
do.
Do you know, I've been reading the book The Prince by
Oh,
Nicholas.
excuse me. Excuse
Oh,
me.
sorry.
One other thing.
Yep.
Albanese and some politicians will not be eligible.
No,
They
they're not
will not have to
eligible.
pay.
They're exempt.
Sorry,
Yes.
mate. You're reading the book.
Yeah, I started rereading the book The Prince by Niccolo
Oh.
Machiavelli, at which I think I've read it. I'm going, that's Albo, that's Albo. And he said the first method of estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. And I look at the people that Albanese has around him. The first thing they did, getting us back in, when they got back in, first thing Penny Wong does, signs us up or endorses the World Health Organization's global pandemic. Malcolm, why can't people see this? And more money to Hamas, more support over there, and more control over here in Australia. When I read
Well,
this, when I was reading the book last night, I thought, this is the Labor Party all over again.
what's the difference between the Labor Party and the LNP?
Nothing. They're
Well,
all the same.
one is, the Labor Party is like putting the country in a speedboat going down a river, heading for a waterfall, catastrophic waterfall. The
Yeah.
LNP is in a rowboat. It's just slower, but they're still pushing the same policies.
Mm,
You know, you're absolutely right. We led the charge. My office led the charge in 2022 April. We put out
yep.
videos about the pandemic treaty, so-called World Health Organization pandemic treaty and international health regulations. We blew it up, put it right out in the open. Some of our videos went around the world. We made a series of 7 videos.
Mm,
The African countries signed up, opposed it completely. That completely defeated the UN World Health Organization's pandemic treaty and international
right.
health regulations. But
Mm,
Pat, we have to remember who started this. It was the United States of America under Joe Biden, and
yep.
it was the uh, Australian government, Liberal National Party, that endorsed it and supported it, along with a couple of other countries I can't remember. So it was roundly defeated.
Mm.
So they came back, and this fortunately, the good news is that the world has shown that they don't trust the World Health Organization. The
No.
Argentinians are pulling out.
Yeah.
The Americans are pulling out. Other countries are
Well,
talking about pulling out.
the Italians just about lined up and wanted to shoot them on Melania. There I love her. I'm going to Italy next week. I love her.
Well, give her a hug from me, please.
I'd love to meet her. That's for sure.
But what they've done, Pat, this document is basic. There are two things I need to point out about this document. The first is that it's been so watered down, it's nothing at all.
Yeah.
It's no advance on the 2007 documents that we used to be under. But the other thing is that it's, even regardless of what's in the World Health Organization that was voted in, it doesn't apply in our country unless the government passes it through legislation and signs it. That's it. So it's not law yet, but what we need to do is get the people to stand up and hold the members of the government accountable and tell them not to sign it. Call your Labor Party member of Parliament and senator and tell them no, just don't do it. It's got nothing to do with Australia. The World Health Organization is crooked, corrupt, incompetent, and criminal, dishonest. We've got to stop this masquerading, taking over our country.
Malcolm, it's always a joy to talk to you. Last question, because I know you've got a lot on. And economically, what do you see? I'm interviewing Harry Dent tomorrow, folks. I'll tell you a little bit about that after I speak to Malcolm. But some economists are predicting a crash. Some are saying get prepared for the worst. What do you see?
Well, as you know, I rarely make forecasts or predictions or projections because I don't know the data in future. I make my comments based on hard data, hard facts, empirical evidence. So I can't answer that question. But I do know that the drivers of the standard of living are negative. Standard of living will fall. There's nothing, no need to predict that because productivity growth is tiny or negative. And productivity growth, the efficiency with which we convert our raw inputs to businesses into finished products that we sell to customers, that is negative. It's falling. It's falling because the industrial relations regime is so inefficient and weighted towards union bosses. That's Labor getting their next donations ready for the next election. The energy costs are extremely high, artificially high, Pat. And while those two are combined like that, we will be heading for dramatic falls in standard of living. We're the worst country in the whole of the G20 for standard of living increases and net wages increases. So it'll be harder times, higher costs of living, lower standard of living in Australia. There's no doubt about that.
I was talking to a leading financial person who was talking about Australia, and he said, you guys are the envy of the world as far as your natural resources. Why are they trying to destroy what the good Lord gave us to prosper with? But we shall see. Malcolm, it's always wonderful to have you. Big congratulations again. Let's give a big God bless and thank you to Senator Malcolm Roberts. Look forward to catching up with you as soon as I'm back.
Okay, anytime, Pat. Thank you so much. And have a good holiday with Georgia. And give her a good hug for me, mate.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's one leader. She's not backward and coming forward.
No, she's wonderful.
She's wonderful.
Reminds me of a redhead in the Senate here for One Nation.
That's right. She'd get along very well with her, that's for sure. God bless you, Malcolm.
Safe travels, mate.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Now listen very carefully. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m., you need to register for this. Harry Dent, I'm telling you, he is about to explode with facts and data. Listen to me. Facts, data, numbers, figures, charts, you name it. And we need to be aware of what's going on in this country. On top of that, tomorrow, we're going to give you strategies to protect your money, to prosper in these times, and also so that you can leverage. To every down there is an up, to every up there is a down. Don't miss it. It's not on this platform. You need to register. The link will be in the comments section. 11 a.m., 6 p.m. Please do not ask me for a recording. We don't do that. We're not allowed to do that. 11 a.m. live and 6 p.m. live. 2 sessions. I look forward to seeing you there. Listen, you want to make sure you put a fence at the top of the mountain and not an ambulance at the bottom. Because believe you me, this crash is going to be absolutely horrific. But you can escape it if you know.